Every year, thousands of students are affected by a devastating condition. While there has yet to be extensive research on this disease, teachers have found that it spreads quickly. In just a moment, you can go from a productive, motivated student to one that would rather be anywhere than class. The disease is called senioritis. This disease used to be contained to seniors, but now stands as a threat to everyone. Juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, you found yourself in the war zone. The longer the disease lingers in the body, the harder it is to reverse. Symptoms may include, but are not limited to, distractedness, doodling, and improper technology usage. Senioritis is no joke. Tell your doctor today if you think you may be experiencing symptoms.
Good morning. One sec. Hey, wake up. It's time to film.
Fine.
Sorry. Good morning. I'm Micah Klein.
And I'm Rowan Hood. Sorry, I'm just getting over a mild case of senioritis.
Anyways, we've got work to do and some cool stories to share.
Leading off, reporter Neria brings us a look at Impact, an organization offering practical and empowering self-defense training.
We talk a lot about safety, about how to be aware of your surroundings and trust your instincts. But what happens when awareness isn't enough? That's what I'm here to find out. Impact is a self-defense program that doesn't just teach theory, it teaches action. So today I'll be attending one of their classes in the hopes of gaining a few new skills and coming to a better understanding of what it truly means to stand your ground. Let's go. Going into the class, I wondered how physically demanding self-defense would be, but I quickly realized that you don't have to be a star athlete to protect yourself. Director of Impact, Meg Stone, helped assure me of that fact.
I think a lot of people view self-defense either as requiring a lot of athletic ability, like kickboxing or martial arts or other very intense physical practices. Self-defense is for people of all body types.
One's mindset, preparedness, and technique are all vital to mastering self-defense. And for those who face a higher risk of violence, access to these skills can be life-changing. That's where Impact comes in.
So our programs reach people with disabilities, they reach women and girls, they reach LGBTQ people, people of color, as well as anyone and everyone who is looking to learn how to protect themselves.
After hearing about all the different specialized programs and techniques that are used, I was confident that I was in good hands. First, Alicia, one of the Impact instructors, walked me through the step-by-step of how to do the two most basic self-defense moves. There was a learning curve, to say the least. No!
Good. Time out. We're just going to do it one more time so you can get the mesh.
But I got there in the end.
Yeah, that was good. That was it.
Then it was time to put the skills that I'd learned to test. We simulated a scenario where I played someone who was getting unsolicited attention from a stranger at a train station. It was daunting at first. However, I gained more confidence every time we did it.
When he moves in, I strike loud no.
No!
Good.
Even though I learned how to use physical self-defense methods strategically, I also learned how important it is to communicate in threatening situations. Alicia Ortiz instructs students on how to clearly vocalize under pressure.
And one small boundary that we teach folks, something as simple as, hey, no offense, I don't feel like talking right now. And something as simple as that I've used and have been shocked that it worked, that people left me alone.
Ben Camo, Impact instructor and self-proclaimed punching bag, has observed the instincts that people develop when they have a good self-defense foundation.
I've heard one story of a woman who took our class and then years later, somebody came up and cut the straps of her purse and she just defaulted to using her voice, yelling no, yelling stop, and that scared the person who was trying to do it.
Though the idea of stepping into a self-defense class was initially scary, by the end I felt so much more prepared and confident in handling unsafe circumstances.
When people walk out of our classes specifically, they walk out with a different air about themselves. They're a slightly different person because they feel like they can back themselves.
After just one class, I can tell you that self-defense is not about strength, it's about strategy. Today, I'm walking away with a better understanding of what it really means to protect myself. And if there's anything I've learned, it's that preparation can make all the difference. From The Update, this is Neria Abimut.
Thanks, Neria. On Tuesday, June 3rd, seniors will have the opportunity to take self-defense lessons at North through Impact.
Next up, reporter Raven McBride paid a visit to the Newton Fire Department to take a look into a day in the life of these heroes keeping Newton safe.
3, engine 10, ladder 2, rescue 1.
Firefighting. Tough, dangerous, heroic. 3 different locations. 3 amazing experiences. To see what firefighters do besides putting out fires and saving lives. Find out for yourself. Watch the full version on our YouTube page at Newton North TV.
It's cool to see what goes on behind the scenes at a fire station.
You can watch the full video and get the inside scoop on our YouTube channel, Newton North TV. While there, you can check out all the work TV Media Art students produce.
Weighing on a lot of students' minds this time of year is the college application. One big question is whether or not to apply test optional.
Reporter William Jans breaks it all down and provides insights on whether taking the SAT or ACT is the right decision for you.
Harvard, Purdue, and Ohio State. What do these schools have in common? Well, alongside many others, they will all be reinstating their testing requirements come fall of 2026. Previously, these schools practiced the test optional policy, which allowed students to exclude their SAT and ACT scores on their applications. The policy was implemented at hundreds of schools during and after the COVID-19 pandemic, primarily because standardized testing became difficult to administer safely. Therefore, to understand how the reinstated testing requirement impacts students, we spoke to the college and career counselors as well as current seniors.
If a student knows that most of the colleges they're applying to aren't going to require standardized testing, they may not shift a whole lot than they would have naturally. But if students are looking at schools that now do require the SATs or the ACTs, I think that may lead to a little bit more focus in that as part of their process.
We do recommend that if you're going to be applying to college that you attempt the SAT or ACT, and going into it knowing that still it's fairly low stakes testing. And the reason for that is because we can still put together a great list of colleges for the majority of students that don't require testing.
At North, students have access to free testing resources such as prep books and tutoring. However, thousands across Massachusetts lack the same materials.
You know, there is research that shows that students who get formal test prep tend to do better. And yeah, it's completely unfair for students who cannot afford or don't have access to those resources.
Testing requirements are set to be reinstated next year, which means that current seniors still have the option to omit their test scores at most colleges. Ellie Marchessault and Jules Jaffe are 2 seniors who chose to go test optional in their college applications.
I originally wanted to have my test scores as part of my application, but I personally did not have tutoring for any tests I was taking. I was scared because I wasn't submitting it, and I knew a lot of people that were submitting theirs.
Despite these worries, the test optional policy also allows students to hone other aspects of their application.
Now, looking back at it, I'm totally okay with it, and I definitely think it gave me room to just write all my essays, write all my supplements, and to mention the fact that I do self-study.
I would say that a lot of times in school, my work shows more of who I am as a student. And when thinking about if I wanted to submit my test scores ACT or SAT, I didn't feel like it would accurately really reflect who I am as a student. They were going to see my grades, and then they were going to see what my teachers thought of me and what I think of myself with my essays.
As shown by Ellie and Jules, the test optional policy has been a valuable way for students to highlight their academics and personal stories rather than test scores.
I think it is unfair to judge a student based on what they can do for 4 hours on a Saturday morning. And I do think, especially working with our Newton North students who are truly exceptional, I would love for the colleges to to just place all their weight on what you're doing in the classroom here and not just on a test.
For the update, this is William Yons.
If you have any questions, schedule a meeting with Miss Mahler or Miss Hall in the College and Career Center. They're here to help.
And while college is a serious step, it's important to make some time for fun too.
Yeah, that's right. With April Fools having just passed, reporter Will Hartzog hit the halls to ask students about their favorite pranks.
In the spirit of April Fool's Day, we thought we would go around Newton North and ask students what their favorite pranks are. What would you say is your favorite prank?
For me, I used to have this sink in like my kitchen where there was like a detachable, you could pull the extra faucet out and you would spray the dishes with it. And I would just tape that so that when you turned on the sink in the morning, you would get sprayed with water.
I would have to say taking the frosting out of the Oreos and replacing it with toothpaste.
Tricky.
Replacing shampoo with hair dye.
So this is the breakdown. First, I'm going to do something absolutely diabolical. Then I'm going to choose my given target.
Probably to put toothpaste in people's socks.
I think my favorite one, I've got to say, someone poured like curdled milk in my pillow once. It wasn't a very fun experience. I never spoke to my sister again.
And once given target is in the right setting so that they're a possible suspect for what I've done, then I'm going to leave a red herring to make it look like it's given target.
I know it's dated, but for me, nothing beats a well-executed brick roll.
That's a classic.
You go and you pick one person, right? Someone that you know you're going to encounter multiple times throughout the entire day, right? So you go up to that person at the very start of the day and just tell them flat out, I'm going to prank you at some point, and you're never going to know when. So the entire day, you just keep saying to them, oh yeah, I'm going to get you. I'm going to prank you later. Every single time, and then just never do it.
Definitely making people's alarms at like 3 a.m.
You can set other people's alarms at 3 a.m. Have you done this before?
Yeah, my brothers.
Oh.
Actually giving a note to someone and making it seem like they like each other, but they don't.
Like a, do you like me, check this check mark box? Yes, yeah, that's a good one.
When given target gets framed and in trouble, then I can start laughing and say, I told you what would happen.
And there you have it. Well, that was certainly a wide variety of answers. From The Update, this is Will Hartzog.
Micah, do you have any pranks you'd like to share?
Don't worry, Rowan. You'll find out soon enough.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. If you have a story of your own, DM us on Instagram at Newton North TV. We'd love to hear from you.
Until then, enjoy your spring break, and we'll see you soon.